Alrighty, so we're going to talk a little bit about chain brakes on chainsaws. We fairly frequently have people that, are used to using chainsaws but don't use them every day, and so sometimes you get a little bit confused on the direction of what is on and what is off for the chainsaw brake, and also kind of go through, what the chainsaw brake is doing and how it's intended to be used and what it's designed to prevent. Pulling this handle back towards you releases the chain brake and allows the chain to freewheel essentially on that saw. If I go forward with that brake, you hear that audible click, this chain no longer turns, and what's actually happening is the clutch drum inside of the saw has a band around it that when this handle goes forward, that band basically snaps down around the outside of the drum and is in essence, the friction stops that drum from turning. Now, what it's designed to prevent is from you to get a saw that is, spinning, running. If it kicks back, like say you're trying to cut something, especially with the tip there, it can kick back towards you. My wrist, just by nature of holding onto this handle, will hit that chain brake before that saw gets to my head, essentially. Thus stopping the chain from turning so that if it does hit me, maybe I get a headache, but I don't get a huge nasty cut on my forehead. Being a brake like that, it does have the ability to be essentially powered through. So if the brake is left on, a guy can sit there and run the saw and actually get that chain to turn some. And what's happening is the clutch drum will not be turning potentially, and the clutch shoes are turning inside the clutch drum, or it could be that the clutch drum is turning against that brake. Either way, you're creating a lot of heat in there. It's like running your car with the emergency brake on. You're going to get a lot of excess heat, which is going to damage stuff. It's going to soften the clutch springs. You're going to have potentially melting housing plastics around it, melting the worm gear that drives your oiler. It can actually cause it to where a saw is not worth fixing because of the amount of damage that's done, and the parts that are there are super expensive to fix because they might be part of the whole engine housing. Simplest way to kind of remember is, every time you're starting the saw, you should have that chain brake forward, start it, and then right away pull that handle back to release the brake. Pulling it back towards you is, every time you pick that saw up to go and cut is going to be where you want to, get in the habit of, so that you know that it's off. If you ever hear kind of like a and you can tell that the saw is trying to go, but the chain is not going, right away pull that handle, because that's probably what it is the brake is not disengaged, and it's preventing that the saw chain from turning. And again, if you're ever kind of confused, just remember that if you were to hold it and come back towards you, that's going to be brake position. So pull back towards you and it should release. If you're ever testing the saw chain, you should be wearing gloves, but never try and pull the chain backwards this way, because you will slip and really cut yourself on these teeth. Only ever going forward direction. All right, thanks guys.